stopped by. You can say hello back here.
The new building?
There's some of these.
The Historical Society is getting a new building, but we're trying to get some funds. Yeah.
Well, what have you? All right, good. See, when the kids come, just make sure you tell them I was a close second. Okay, good.
Waiting for us to secure that building.
The kids at Sherrard made me cards, and I was reading them yesterday, and they were so funny. Some of them were so nice, some of them were so nice, you know. And one of the girls were happy for this little boy that he made. His name was barely read it. I'm ready. It's my will. I said, I must have been on a suspension for him or something. He was love this. Where's he get that from? Okay. All right, Kara, you want to go ahead?
I'm right now.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming. This is a good crowd, so thank you guys all for coming, and I see a lot of different faces that we don't normally see at our events, so that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. If you would like a little bit more information about the Historical Society and what we do, we've got some flyers and things up here. We run both the Marshall County History Museum in Moundsville and the Cockney Farmstead in Glendale. So if you haven't been to either of those locations, or you didn't know those locations existed, we encourage you to check them out, stop by sometime. We're open almost every day, so it's pretty easy to stop by and visit. One of our biggest projects currently is we're actually looking to buy a new building for the Marshall County History Museum. The building we're in is just very small, and most people don't know where it is. So we're trying to, we're in the process of making an offer on a building in Moundsville. So we're trying to raise some money for that, and there's, again, information over here about that, about becoming a member, all that sort of stuff. So check it out afterwards. We're very excited to be here tonight to partner with the Marshall County Schools to bring you this class. It'll be a 4-part class every other Thursday. So come back, check out the whole thing. It's arranged roughly chronologically. So we're starting with ancient history, then we're going to 18th, 19th century with the next one, and then the next one will be sort of the Victorian era in Glendale, and how things shift in the area during that time, specifically Glendale, which undergoes a major change in that time period. And then the last one will be about the 20th century, and specifically focusing on the many businesses that were such a big deal here in Marshall County, and mostly now are all gone. So we're hoping to sort of cover the full span as much as you can do in 4 weeks of Marshall County history. So if this is something you like, maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we'll continue it. So let us know what you think about that. For tonight, I'm very happy to introduce Hank Lutton, who works at the Grave Creek Mound Museum. He is a very impressive archaeologist, actually, who's worked some very impressive places, including Colonial Williamsburg, so that's pretty cool. And so he's going to get us started with this series to talk about mounds and other prehistoric landscape features of Marshall County.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all of you for taking time out of your evening and coming and joining us. And I'd like to thank the Marshall County Schools and the Marshall County Historical Society for the kind invitation to be the guinea pig on the first episode of the series. Ivor Noel Yu, a very famous archaeologist and best-selling author, which I'll never be, once gave me a piece of advice, and that was to never begin a presentation with an apology. And sorry, no, I'm going to violate that. And first off, this is not the presentation I envisioned giving. I had envisioned having a lot more artifacts and a lot more technical information about some of the various excavations in Marshall County. And for a number of reasons, the way this evolved is sort of trying to jam 20,000 years into our little hour. So it's much broader than I had originally envisioned. The second part of the apology is that we are experiencing technical difficulties in that technology is not doing what it's designed to do. The screen you're going to see is going to be the image that I had intended for you to see. And what you're also seeing in the margin are the presenter's notes. So it's a little bit like the Wizard of Oz. The curtains pulled back and you see the levers that I'm pulling. In the past, I've always sort of just gone on the fly. And increasingly, I felt that it's better to get certain statistics and things I might forget, like acknowledging the hosts. So If we take Isle of Wight County, which is in the Tidewater, south of the James, it has 461 sites. So slightly more. And if we look at the sites in Marshall County, almost half of them, about 48%, are prehistoric sites, either exclusively or it's a multi-component site that may have a later historical portion to it. Of those sites in Marshall County, approximately 30 of them are mound sites, either in existence or that have been documented and destroyed. It's unfortunate because we know from looking at historical documents that hundreds of sites were lost in the late 18th and the 19th. This is how to tell time in prehistoric West Virginia. These are the major periods. Human occupation in North America begins somewhere around an estimated 20,000 years ago. West Virginia officially uses 10,500 BCE. So this is known as the Common Era system. BCE basically is a replacement of what all of you learned in school as BC. And CE, the Common Era, is the same as AD. It's based on the same system. The earliest period is the Paleolithic. This is where Paleo-Indians first entered North America. It's followed in stages of increasing population and increasing development and diversification of culture. And then comes all the way up to the contact period, which for West Virginia begins about 1670. And each state has their own unique chronology and their own unique labels. Virginians is very similar, but it's very different from what you would encounter in Missouri or Washington State. So the traditional view of how people came to North America is that hunters following large megafauna came across the Bering Strait into what is now Alaska on the Bering Land Bridge. This was because in the throes of the Ice Age, water was locked up as ice, water level was lower, exposing a corridor from Asia to Alaska. And that as the glaciers began to melt, an ice-free corridor opened up in Canada, and people streamed down and populated what would become North and South America. And this was the prevailing notion. Beginning in the 1970s, however, a number of archaeological discoveries were made that began to challenge. Put it here. So in that prevailing theory, hunters followed very large critters called megafauna. Most of these are extinct now, but they would have followed them hunting, and they had specialized projectile points that were designed to help bring down these animals. And as you can see very faintly on the